शून्य के बराबर लगभग 140 मीटर प्रति सेकंड रह जाएगा।
So almost 6 minutes have elapsed since we started the power descent operation, and we are still in the rough braking phase with the next 4 minutes to go. And if I look at the velocity that has dropped from the time the power descent operation was initiated, nearly 50% of the orbital velocity has been reduced. So we started with 1680 meter per second. Presently, the Vikram lander is descending towards the lunar surface, and it has a velocity of 760. So we expect in the next 3 minutes, the velocity should come down to something like 146. So on your screen, you can see the plot where we have on the x-axis the downrange, and on the y-axis is the altitude. So I think altitude has Alok has come down quite substantially now. We are almost maybe in the range of 10 to 20 kilometers. And velocity also is, yeah, I think maybe. So a very close match with respect to the pre-flight predictions, and which clearly indicates the 4 throttleable steering engines, which has been basically designed for this Vikram lander for the first time, has been performing extremely well. And as per the plan, the timeline is going very precisely, 7 minutes 34 seconds. So maybe another 2.5 minutes to go. And we have almost touched the 630 meter per second. So maybe another 500 meter per second velocity is what we expect to get it reduced. At the same time, if you look at the downrange, it has traveled quite close to the landing site now. And just we are maybe 75 kilometers away from the actual landing site. When the maneuver was initiated, we were almost 600 plus kilometers, and yeah, and quite a velocity, and I think it has been getting reduced quite substantially. The one thing I would like to just mention here, during the descent phase of operation, as I mentioned, the rough braking phase is the real brute force of velocity reduction, and since we are trying to bring an object from an orbiting around the lunar surface to have a touchdown, there is a need for us to reduce the velocity. It's something like braking, and quite eventually the job is being done now. Maybe it's around 450 meter per second, and another 2 minutes plus to go. In fact, I think when we reach an altitude of almost, the target for this particular rough braking phase is to attain an altitude of 7.4 kilometers, when the velocity should have touched almost 146. So maybe another nearly 2 minutes, maybe 1 minute to go.
जी हाँ, लगभग एक मिनट की दूरी पर हम लोग करीब जो लैंडिंग साइट है उससे करीब 50-60 किलोमीटर की दूरी पर होंगे, और जो ऊंचाई है वो भी करीब 10 किलोमीटर बच गई है, और इस समय जो वेगमान है वो भी करीब 376 मीटर प्रति सेकंड है। इसे और भी कम करना होगा, इसलिए जो चारों इंजन हैं वो भी अभी तक प्रज्वलित हैं। हम करीब 7.4 किलोमीटर की ऊंचाई पर जब पहुंचेंगे उस समय जो एब्सोल्यूट नेविगेशन फेज है वो शुरू कर दिया जाएगा, और ये बहुत महत्वपूर्ण होगा। इस समय जो लैंडर है वो थोड़ा सा अपने अक्ष से झुका हुआ होगा, और लगातार इस समय हम सारे वैज्ञानिक, आप अगर देख पा रहे होंगे, 73.3 वर्टिकल वेलोसिटी, और डाउन रेंज जो है करीब 18 किलोमीटर हम दूर पर हैं लैंडिंग साइट से। और इस समय जो इमेजर है उसका डेटा भी डाउनलोड हो रहा है। कम्युनिकेशन सिस्टम जो है वो भी बाकायदा ऑन हो चुके हैं। इस समय आप अपने स्क्रीन पर देख पा रहे होंगे कि हर वैज्ञानिक लगातार छोटे आंकड़ों पर नजर बनाए हुए है, और आप सुन पा रहे थे तालियों की गड़गड़ाहट के साथ 210 मीटर प्रति सेकंड की जो वेगमान है वो कर लिया गया है। और रफ ब्रेकिंग सिस्टम जो है, रफ ब्रेकिंग जो फेज था वो लगभग अपने अंतिम दौर पे
finished. So we have finished the rough braking phase now, because the target for that was 7.4 kilometers and the velocity was nearly 140. So the Vikram lander has successfully completed the rough braking phase, and now we have entered the next phase of operation, which is the absolute navigation or attitude control phase. And this particular event is going to last for nearly 38 seconds. The 4 throttleable engines are continuously on, and we see the velocity is something like 86 meter per second, and roughly 4.43 kilometers away from the landing site. So all going well. Just awaiting the announcement for completing. Yes, the rough braking phase has been successfully completed, and we have entered the next phase of braking operation, which is the fine braking start, which is going to basically commence from 5 kilometer altitude, and this particular operation is going to last for nearly 96 seconds, wherein the Vikram lander will be reaching an altitude of just 400 meters above the landing site for initiating the vertical descent operations. So we are almost 11 minutes 52 seconds after the descent operation has started, just awaiting the announcement for the end of fine braking phase. Maybe in another few seconds we should hear the announcement that the fine braking phase of operation has been completed. And we expect at the end of this, the vehicle to reach an altitude of almost 400 meters. And the velocity right now, if you look at the plot, we have the Vikram lander has a horizontal velocity of nearly 48 meters and vertical velocity of 60 meters per second.
जी हाँ, करीब करीब 12 मिनट 30 सेकंड का समय व्यतीत हो चुका है। हम लोग काफ़ी नज़दीक चंद्रमा की सतह पर, और फाइन ब्रेकिंग जो है वो है फेज़ है, वो लगभग ख़त्म होने की स्थिति में।
Just waiting for the confirmation for the fine breaking end.
तनाव भरे क्षण होते हैं जब इस तरह की कोई भी घटना के हम बहुत ही करीब होते हैं, क्योंकि वर्टिकल डिसेंट स्टार्ट होने
क्या आप भी स्टॉक्स में इन्वेस्ट करना चाहते हैं, पर अकाउंट ओपनिंग चार्ज, एनुअल मेंटेनेंस चार्ज, हाई ब्रोकरेज?
Spacecraft will be moved from nearly 400 to 700 kilometers down to the lunar surface.
The screens are showing the countdown. Also the path that lander Vikram will take, as we are moments away to see that touchdown happening. Chandrayan 2 is an Indian lunar mission that aims to improve our understanding of our closest neighbor, the moon. Discoveries that perhaps will contribute to national development and also serve humanity as a whole. These young students have participated in the space quiz, and they are here to witness the historic event. At ISRO, as the boundaries of India's capabilities in space continue to expand, the Honorable Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi, encourages exploration of space potential and also application of space technologies to help ease of living. Prime Minister, in his Mann Ki Baat address, had invited students to participate in space quiz. His appeal had got an overwhelming response, and today, apart from the scientists and other stakeholders, we have students not only of India, but also of Bhutan, to witness the soft landing of Chandrayan 2 on the south polar region of the moon. So what makes Chandrayan 2 special? This is the first space mission to conduct a soft landing on the moon's south polar region. The scientists here at ISTRAC are glued to their systems, analyzing all kinds of complex data. India is at the brink of creating history. Are you ready to witness history tonight? It all starts.
A very good morning and welcome from the Mission Operation Complex of Telemetry Tracking and Command Network, an unit of Indian Space Research Organization, ISRO, located in Bangalore in the southern part of India. My name is Radhakrishnan, and I have with me my colleague Dr. Alok, who will be bringing to you the live coverage of the Chandrayan 2 mission in English and Hindi. Today, we are all awaiting anxiously to witness the final phase of critical and most technologically challenging mission operations of Chandrayan 2, wherein Indian lunar lander named Vikram will be making the soft landing on the surface of the moon. We are approximately 28 minutes away from this important event. For the viewers, just a quick update on the Chandrayan 2 mission. Chandrayan 2 spacecraft is a composite unit consisting of 3 independent modules, named an orbiter, a lander called Vikram, and a rover named Pragyan, which is housed inside the lander unit. At the time of launch, all these 3 modules are held together as a single spacecraft called Chandrayan 2, and the total mass of Chandrayan 2 at launch was 3,850 kilograms. As you are all aware, launch of Chandrayan 2 spacecraft took place on 22nd of July on board India's heaviest GSLV Mark III launcher from Satish Dhawan Space Center at Sriharikota. The launcher has successfully placed Chandrayan 2 into an elliptical transfer orbit around the Earth. Subsequently, Chandrayan 2 composite module raised its orbit around the Earth by using its rocket propulsion system in preparation to move from the earthbound phase to the lunar transfer phase. Now, if you look at the overall sequence that has happened, since the Chandrayan 2 was inserted into the orbit, the Chandrayan 2 spacecraft was eventually captured into an orbit around the moon, and later it performed almost 4 lunar-bound maneuvers and lowered its orbit to almost 100 kilometers around the Earth. You may be aware, on 2nd of September, which was 5 days ago from where we are today, the orbiter and the lander module were separated from each other. And the very next day, after the orbiter and lander module got separated, and the lander Vikram module performed two deboost operations just to move the orbit from an orbit of 100 by 100 kilometers to an orbit of 30 kilometers by 100 kilometers around the moon. So as on date, where we are almost 26 minutes away from the launch, and the orbiter module is rotating at an orbit of around 100 kilometers around the moon, and we have the Vikram lander module, which is moving in an orbit of 30 kilometers by 100 kilometers. And since the launch of Chandrayaan 2 on 22nd July, today is the 40th day when landing is expected to take place. So right now we are around 26 minutes away from the start of the most important and crucial powered descent operation.